What's going on, YouTube? This is your Melanated Warrior, Haywood Haynes, and this is another installment of Facts Over Feelings. Leave your feelings at the door so we can get to the facts, and we right back at it. We got a lot to cover. This is about to be an explosive segment. If this doesn't shatter the conventional framework into a million pieces, I don't know what will. Plus, I'm trying to get you out of the mindset where you endorse individuals who take a side to an argument and do not question the science itself. This is the only way that the liberation process is going to be successful. Period. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it, because what we need to do is absolve ourselves of their reasoning. Otherwise, we're doomed. We're doomed. You know, and I hate what I'm seeing now, and it's getting worse. I mean, you know, it was already, I don't know where it was going in 2020, but we already see where it's at now, and we look at the state of affairs within the conscious community, the so-called conscious community, and I've always articulated it like that. Anybody who's been rocking with the FOF squad knows that I've always said that, but what I hate is when I hear people just using the term conscious community, because we do have one in our communities. We do have one. All right, but the fact of the matter is that when you stigmatize it and say like, oh yeah, you know, you got to watch out people in the conscious community. No, you have to watch out for the so-called conscious community. With every field comes your con men and your con women. You can't name an industry that doesn't have it. We so hard on ourselves. We have to understand that this comes with the territory. It's just like war. You go out there on that battlefield, the bullets whizzing by, the bombs, this comes with the territory. You can't act surprised when you step on that battlefield. We know that this is what happens, man. A lot of people want to make money the easy way, but you know people by their actions, the fruit that they bear. So we can't sit up here and act like for the most part that we've been blindsided, and that's unacceptable. That just won't suffice. But what I'm trying to prove to you is that, understand that the stock that we're come from, the inspiration that the people who've inspired us and motivated us, like the Dr. Francis Cress Welsings and the Dr. Henry Clark and Dr. Neely Fuller and Dr. Delbert Blair and, the Dr. Khalid Muhammad and, these individuals, and we can go on and on. That was what we seen as the conscious community. Okay, so when you begin to redefine what the conscious community is to us, that's what we have a problem with. Stop doing that. Because you're doing that job for them. The other side really wants to ridicule us. They really want to find fault with our reawakening. Because y'all know that this is the era of reawakening. So like I said before, we have to be prepared in knowing that we're going to receive the brunt end of this vile energy from the inside and the out. But the reason why they're so successful in doing so, because I'm going to point this out to you, I'm going to show you the importance of this, is because they believe in their science. See, when you know for a fact that everything that he has constructed, this matrix that he has built, is fraudulent, then you know it's no way he can give you a solution. So when you see him running around scared, when you see him panicking, when you see him talking about an apocalypse, you better believe him. You better believe him. Because he is well aware of the chain of events that he has set into motion. And I'm finna show you. That's why I said before, they're going to show you that they have to solar geoengineer this plane in order for them to have or entertain a hospitable existence. There is no other options. And however they have to do it, whatever science that they use, political science, the social sciences, the health sciences, it doesn't matter how they are and how they achieve their end, whether they are aggressive in nature or whether they are passive in nature. The end result is still the same. They have to get the agenda accomplished. They have to solar geoengineer the planet. And I'm going to dispel many arguments, many cases that people make. Oh, well, it's a lot of people from all different walks of life. It's not about race, not about color. I'm going to show you how things are. That's what I'm about to show you. And then you're going to have to just walk with me on this, because you're about to get these facts. You're about to get this work. So, For instance, I'm gonna start off by like the science behind one of the biggest events, in the United States history, which was the attack on the Twin Towers, right? By planes. Now, this is what I'm telling you right now is that immediately when you name that event or when you bring that event up, the thoughts that go through people's head, they begin to take a side of an argument, even if they're on the fringe, right? Even if they have a revolutionary thought about how these things went down. Oh, it wasn't Osama had nothing to do with it. They already had blah blah blah, and whoever flew those planes, and this is that and the other, and this was an attack by such and such. They knew that they knew that the towers were going to get attacked beforehand. So you're going deep off into the conspiracy stuff. But just like a guy did a video 10 years ago and showed that, he said, and I don't even have to show the video because when you hear the information, there's no need to show the video. Okay, the information is this. Like he pointed out, he said you're not questioning the science itself. He didn't say that in that words, but he said that was basically what he was saying. You got to question the science because they told you what, that commercial aircraft are mostly made out of what? Aluminum. And then those buildings were steel with reinforced concrete. There's no way aluminum is disappearing inside of steel. That's almost as dumb as me making a paper airplane and expecting that it's going to fly through your body, go through your body when I throw it at you. There's no way aluminum would have went through steel. There's no way. You see what I'm saying? So this is the rationale that people weren't, they're just like, man, did I believe what I saw? And you were trying to process it, but, because the event was so emotional and because it was such, a world-changing event, of course, people got wrapped up in the drama. They got wrapped up in the theater. You see, and of course it obviously had real consequences, but they never miss an opportunity to shed blood. That's what we're never going to, that's not the case. But the point that we're trying to make is, think about it. People took one side of an argument instead of questioning the science itself. That's what we're trying to get you to understand. So, when we talk about, because I'm looking at some of my notes here. So when we talk about, taking their science into consider, always taking their science and placing it, on a pedestal where it becomes infallible and it's beyond question. We put ourselves in a lot of trouble. We do. And what I'm about to do, I'm about to show a video. It's 1976 Copyright Act, Section 107. This purposes of commentary, criticism, scholarship, news reporting. But overall here at the FOF Squad, waking your ass up. Now, this is going to show, without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about, of how when their science rules, they will always have captured your mind. Because, see, the thing is, when I was explaining, the science behind, the human body, the health sciences and stuff, and I was saying that what's integral to, this approach to retroviruses and all of this, different viruses, everything, to life in general, is this DNA concept, and yet they've never seen DNA. People are like, well, yeah, that's a fact, but what you mean, but what? How does that not shake you? They've never seen DNA before. They've never even really seen chromosomes before. So they've never seen DNA before, but yet they base this whole science off of DNA, of what they think that it looks like. Because remember, even in the book, we talk about this. It talked about how they had got this photo from Rosalind Franklin. She went to, from King's College. She had gave this photo to James Watson and Francis Crick, right? The scientists who were credited with the discovery of the DNA molecule. Yet it was called the UFO photo. They never seen the double helix for it. Never, even to this day. But yet you have a whole science based off of it. So why do they posit it as it's fact? And they've never even seen it. Why do you believe in their science more than they do? You see what I'm saying? So when we're taking a look at the health sciences, that's a little bit people like, oh yeah, right? They buy into, the fact that the vast majority of people believe this stuff. So it's nothing that you can do in that regard. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another science, okay, to show you right in plain sight once again. And this is one that you can, a lot of people have a little bit more, are a little bit more liberal, in terms of evaluating this science because it's not as critical, to their everyday life. I mean, it is, to a degree, in certain industries and stuff, but we're talking about, information that you use. You use health information almost every day when you think about it. All right. But this information is just, a lot of people are not into geography. Or the earth sciences. Okay? Now, this is why this is important, because it shows you, remember, like I said before, it is the sciences that they are using in order to justify their actions. And these actions come as if they are philanthropic in nature. They're like they're dressed up in some humanitarian costume, but when you take off the mask, it is nothing less than concrete actions of war. So let's get to this video. Give me a second. Oh, because this finna get deep. This finna get deep. I'm trying to tell you, this finna get deep. Watch how your boy do this. Finna show y'all. Man, there ain't gonna be no doubts.
Ecosystems. Climate is one in all of the British Isles. And scientists have seen this pattern all over the world.
Let's go.
More species exist near the... This episode is supported by Prudential. Here in Tambopata, Peru, E.O. Wilson once found more species of ant in a single tree than there are in all of the British Isles. And scientists have seen this pattern all over the world. More species exist near the tropics. Why is that? In one night here in the Peruvian rainforest, I saw more insects in an hour than I've seen in my entire life, total. It's not just insects, birds, mammals, plants. Regions like this, tropical rainforests, are some of the most biodiverse places on Earth. It's not just the abundance of it, it's how many different species we find in a given area. But why is that? It might seem obvious, or even like a silly question, but the more you think about it, the weirder it gets. Because life has shown that it can succeed pretty much anywhere, from the top of the highest mountains to the bottom of the ocean. Yet Earth's most biodiverse places are always in regions like this.
Earth's most Listen.
One reason why is maps lie to us. Rectangular projections are distortions.
Pause. What did the Blanco man say? Maps lie to us. And I'm finna show now, even what he's talking about, the Mercator projection. But look at what we're looking at right now. You have North America, okay? You have South America. This is Africa. They're still using this maps teaching your children right now. Remember what I said? I'm going to say this again. They use their science against you. So if, mind you, we're in the age of this era, oh, we're all the same. There's no such thing as racism anymore, but they won't change the map. You can fit almost four of the United States inside of the continent of Africa. So why is Africa the same size as the United States and South America? Why? When you know different. You know now. You know how many square miles, all of that different stuff. But yet you still make these maps and you still teach our children this stuff. Just like you still teach them about Christopher Columbus. If racism did not exist, how come they can't make these small changes? Because they associate size with importance. So, like he said, the map is wrong. They'll admit that. And I've been saying this the whole time. They admit it. And I'm telling you, their science is fraudulent. Let's continue. It's just getting started.
The poles look bigger and the tropics smaller than they really are, when in reality the tropics contain about 40% of area on Earth. And unsurprising.
Dig that. Look at what I'm telling you. See now when you look at now they pump a flat Earth. Dig this. They pump a flat Earth to your children, to us in school, in geography class, because they want to show you that the tropics are the areas where you from. Oh, it's just a slither. And that's what you was taught. You used to even draw it on your test. Let me enlighten this right quick. And then he shows you when he uses the globe, look at the tropical region. That's why I be telling you black people, we were everywhere on this planet. Nature says so. You said we are a tropical people, did you not? Hold on. You said we were a tropical people. I am killing you niggas. But see, the Blanco want to show you this ball earth when he talking about space. He want to show you this ball earth when he talking about space. But when it comes to understanding where you are from, now look, if you take this and then you put this all, if you apply this to this map, then it will damn near be 80% of this map. Showing you that your people were everywhere. And since we know sunscreen and since we know all of that cotton picking wasn't going on till later, we know that they were not protected through these measures, so they had to entertain other measures in order to ensure their survival. And that was amalgamating or mixing in with the tropical race in order to stay in a place or a realm that is dominated by the central power source that we know as the sun. Look, man, question the science. You see what I'm saying? So this is what's important. Look, like he said, the maps lie. But yet they don't change up the information. They know Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, yet they don't even change up the information. Look, you know what's so deep? This is what I tell y'all before. I be killing these Blancos because I know their history better than they know their history. Remember when we said, like, this is another argument, this is a myth I'm about to dispel. When you hear people, when they argue, they say, oh, well, yeah, you know, we're in the same boat, you know, where they're going through it too. It's just the elite and it's this, that. But that's always how it's been. They've always had individuals do their dirty work for them. Case in point, go back to 1776. Wasn't that the year that they had declared independence? Huh? Don't we celebrate that? Don't we celebrate July 4th in honor of 1776? But yet then, this is why they don't really teach you a lot about the War of 1812. And when they do teach it, remember, it's all about context. Remember how I told you they control information? And how you mold that information and then disseminate that information is what we call education. And so how they propagated to us, oh, it's like the War of 1812. They don't even really spend too much time on it. But what did the War of 1812 tell you? One, it's misleading because it was a war that lasted 3 years. And then here are their numbers. It's 36 years after the Revolutionary War, and it lasted for 3 years. Now dig what happened. This is when the British burned down the White House. They actually could have won. America didn't have the manpower to defeat the British. But the British just didn't, the war just ended. That's all, with no real clear and decisive winner. This is when I ask you, black people, melanated people, how can an individual free you? Watch what I'm about to say. You better walk with me. You better be walking with me right now. How can an individual free you when they were still slaves themselves? You wasn't free in 1776. We know that your allegiance was always to the crown. And they showed it to you by burning down your damn White House. And you want to know how I know this is the case? Because some people can say, oh yeah, we declared our freedom, then we went to war with them again. No. Because this is the crazy thing about it. This is how I show you how they can even tell two stories at the same time and you'll believe them simultaneously. What do I mean by that? Now, all historians know that Australia and America were what's called penal colonies. Once again, all historians know that America and Australia was what was called penal colonies. Or that's where you put your prisoners or your criminals. Okay? So if it was penal colonies, how in the hell did you bring civilization to somebody and you a criminal? Once again, how can you bring civilization to somebody and you're a criminal? Criminality and civility or civilization are not bedfellows. So if you sent the criminals to America and you sent the criminals to Australia, how in the hell would you, and why would the hell would you respect their governments that they set up? Those were your prisoners. And isn't it true by the 13th Amendment when you are enslaved, and that's their laws, this is their perspective, that slavery is legal? This is their concept, not ours. I'm killing you niggas, man. So when you take a look at Haiti, this is man, I got some powerful stuff to say. When you take a look at Haiti, and you see two very powerful things. Obviously, one is apparent. We already know there is differences in the way that we're treated. Let's get over that, because this whole realm has to be taken over, has to be done away with. for them in order to survive. Okay, so one thing that you saw was, how they treated us, and it really broke my heart to see my people in that position like that. It really did. Because what was said was, look, this is what was deep. There was, an interview being conducted, and, he was interviewing a sister, and she was saying, in obviously her native tongue, she was saying that, well, I can't go back to Haiti. I can't go back to Haiti. If I go there, it's nothing there. My home's been destroyed. There's no food. There's no jobs. She said, if I go there, it's a death sentence. And what did they say? Take them niggas back. Now, this is what's... What? I'm seeing... I think y'all walking with me. I hear footsteps. Now, they pushing the jab on you. Saying that we care about your life. We care about the welfare of others. We care, so this doesn't spread. We have to do this. We're all in it together. Now, this lady told you she was about to die if she went back. And you didn't care. You sent her back. Because it's not about saving lives. See, that have showed you right there. That have showed you right there. See, if it was about saving lives, they would have at least made accommodations. They would have, went to the or tried to get the aid or petition the aid from other countries to see whether or not they could provide asylum. We know that at least we don't have knowledge of that. You see, or they could have done like we talked about what they did for the Afghans, or what they did for those for all others who were crossing the border. But we know what this war is about. We gotta stop acting like it's not about the godlike molecule. The sooner you understand that their science is just a means to an end, the better off you're going to be. The more prepared you're going to be. Because you see, remember I told you it was 2 messages that was sent. The subliminal message was the most powerful, not the overt. Because see, if you're a shallow thinker, one thing that you would be thinking about, well, why didn't they get Haven here? Why didn't we? Because that's what we want to say. We want to say, okay, well, yeah. But remember, like I told you, the whole world is in danger. And I'm finna prove it. Okay, let me read this article. Let me read this article to show you exactly what I'm talking about so I can prove my point. Okay. Now I'm just going to read this and you can do this research. This article just came out, was posted 22 hours ago. It says, on Tuesday, the House of Representatives passed legislation to extend government funding until early December. The move would help prevent a government shutdown and raise the debt ceiling, which would ensure that the U.S. does not default on its debt in a matter of weeks. The legislation received no Republican votes. A chief economist at Moody's Analytics laid out the dire economic consequences of defaulting on the country's debts. Once again, a chief economist at Moody's Analytics laid out the dire economic consequences of defaulting on the country's debt. That means real GDP would decline almost 4% peak to trough, nearly 6 million jobs would be lost, and the unemployment rate would surge back close to 9%. So what was my point? My point is they think that they're going to find security and refuge here in the States, and Babylon is on the verge of collapse. Remember I told you, you can't go around it, you can't go over it, you can only go through it. Okay? That's what you need to understand. That's what you need to know. The thing is that, like we said, when we pay attention to the science and we let them captivate us. And the main point that I wanted to get to you guys overall, if you don't take anything out of this, take this. Like, one of the other big controversies, like we had already discussed, which was this climate change stuff. And they said, oh, the carbon emissions is too much carbon. But yet they teach you in school, once again, what? That everything is made out of carbon. It's called organic chemistry. Nothing can survive without carbon. In order to be in this realm, you must contain carbon. So our food, carbon, carbohydrates. We breathe out carbon dioxide. Okay, petroleum, carbon. Plastics, carbon. Trees, carbon. Everything is carbon. And yet it is the king of elements. Remember what we talked about in the book? The king of elements. Yet in the periodic table of elements, when have you ever seen, in other games like chess, when have you seen the king the same size as the pawns? Why is carbon the same size as everything else? Look how slick they are. They promote to you, they say, oh, gold and silver. Go to the periodic table of elements. Gold and silver is in the periodic table of elements. But yet they call carbon the king of elements. And you are made of carbon. So I'm going to ask you, melanated gods and goddesses, what it is do you think that they want? If they doing this for gold and silver is not the king of elements, what do you think they will do for carbon? You know, when carbon bonds by itself, it is a diamond. Carbon is the only element in the periodic table of elements that can bond with itself. And when it does, it makes diamond. And what do white folks do for diamonds? They will kill you for it. What will they do for your organs? They will kill you for it. Remember with that article that I read about the sun? And that title, it said, oh, scientists have figured out when the sun is going to die, and it's going to be epic. The entity that provides life, you excited about that information? What if you as a parent, you came home and your child came to you and you were like, what did you do today in school? Oh, we were in the lab all day working. Oh, really? What were you working on? We were figuring out when you were going to die, Mom or Dad. We were going to figure out, and we found out, and it was going to be epic. You'll be like, anybody get this damn demon child away from me? But this is what I'm saying. This is to help you put this into perspective. Science says you come from monkeys. Science said all of these things. Science says that you are at the height of chronic illness or metabolic illnesses, diabetes, heart disease, osteosclerosis, certain type of cancers. And yet he will angle on you is because it's your weak body, black man, black woman. He won't admit that his food is junk. Oh yeah, he will. But he won't say that it's the cause. He calls it junk food. You see what I'm saying though? Because then he put you, it's called a convenient truth. He made sure that he poisoned your water. Made sure that it was lead in the paint in the homes you lived in. Made sure that you couldn't go out and get you homes in areas where you thought were better neighborhoods to receive a better education. Okay? These are the disadvantages that they created in order to create an even playing field for them. Y'all got to understand, man, that, and I'm going to say this, nature brings about, so when you have, like I said, these arguments about the color scheme, and we say, oh, we're all the same underneath, all I'm saying to you is that look at it through the lens of nature. Like we talked about before in an older video, nature brings about order through color. Like if you took a marijuana plant and you were growing indoors, and the average temperature that marijuana plants like is around 75 degrees consistently. And so if you drop the temperature 30 degrees consistently for 2-3 weeks, the leaves will turn purple. You could turn any strain into purple. It used to be popular back in the day. But people realized that purple wasn't as potent as the green shit. You even know you can get the paperwork on it. You know, they even give you the THC percentage on every strain. And perp is always low. The reason being is because the purple leaves can't absorb the color or the heat or the radiation like the green leaves do. Color is about order in nature. Bruises and discolorations give you indications that something is wrong on your body. But yet they will come up with a science. Oh, well, I don't see color. And it's only skin deep. What? Like we said before, the melanin is in my eyes. It's in my brain. It's in my tissues. I am a melanin being. I am like Queen Abadai say all the time, I am drenched in melanin. So this is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that the science persists, we are in trouble. Because the science is fraudulent from top down, bottom up, left to right, right to left. I don't care which direction you go in, the science is fraudulent. You see, and like we said, that even though the lie persists, they do nothing to want to change it. They have no desire to change it. They'll keep telling this same lie, these same lies over and over again to the children. Because think about it, with the adults, we the way you show that you are trying to repair, they don't even want to repair the intellectual side of the game. They don't even believe in intellectual honesty. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so you say slavery and all that stuff over with. Fix the maps. Fix the history books. Oh, well, no, we can't do that. Why can't you do it? See, they know it's a mind thing. This is what we talked about. The first one to the mind is the winner. This is important. This is essential for our growth and development, and obviously accelerating the growth, accelerating the enlightening process. So we can live life at an optimal level. Because like I said before, if we don't talk about these things and we don't, other people are talking about them. They got news reporters. These people are getting paid. Not to say everyone deserves to get paid, but I'm saying if we see some of our brothers and sisters doing their job, they deserve to be compensated. I mean, we pay their news reporters, don't we? Or their jobs, or we give them by giving them our time and our trust. So why not people from our own community? Okay, and they will be, and you will know their worth by their actions. We know when these people out of control, man, or they egomaniacs, man, they develop a cult following. Everybody, it's people now who got churches and their followers believe they the next coming to Jesus. You're not going to stop people from having cult followings, man. We've learned that all throughout history. Didn't Charles Manson have a cult? He got bitches to murder motherfuckers. So, I mean, if you can get people to kill people, you can get people to do anything. We got to stop acting like, people are not willing to be compromised. They are. Because they believe in the science. And because they think that if the science is what rules, somehow the solutions will come out of this fraudulent science. And that is something that's why the Blanco has no answers for you. He's calling this the sixth wave of extinction. He's saying we're in trouble. He's heightening the debt ceiling every chance he gets. Did you hear about it? Last but not least, let me get this out the way. Let me show you how you don't care about the small man. Protests as El Salvador adopts Bitcoin as legal tender. More than 1,000 El Salvador citizens marched in the capital, San Salvador, to protest against the country formalizing the use of the notoriously erratic Bitcoin. Now check this out. It says, putting its cryptocurrency where its mouth is, El Salvador bought 400 Bitcoins worth 20 million, helping to lift its value above $52,000 for the first time since May. Hours later, however, it was down 8.84% at $47,000, 327. So they had already lost money just hours later after investing in it. But they knew, like the poor people said, how does this help us? This cryptocurrency. You see, we know this is the Great Reset. You see? But overall, the scheme of things, this is an attack on those who are of the eumelanin content. The eumelanin species, the black-brown combination. And that this is an energy that you have. Because remember, like I said, it's in your eyes. So I hope since you know that it's a part of